get a fitness head start, if you're tempted to wait until the new year to get started on a fitness program or a diet, or if you're tempted to take a break from working out until life gets calmer, I'm going to show you how, if you get started now, if you keep going, it may allow you to have a much stronger start into the new year. Also, I'm going to share with you a recent study on the extremes of not putting demands on your body. You're not going to want to miss this rather strange study that came out recently. Kellen Earn here, 13-year fitness coach, helping you develop the mindset and skill set for lasting transformation. So the other day, a private client asked me, what would happen if I stopped strength training? And this really brought me back to countless times where I've heard people say, if you don't work out, your muscle's going to turn to fat. And this always cracked me up because physiologically they are very different types of tissue. So your muscle is not going to turn into fat. But nonetheless, people do have this belief. And what was funny is shortly after that, I came across some research that looked at the extremes of not putting your body through physical demands, or not putting physical demands on your body. And this research comes from what's called head down tilt bed rest. So this is one of the best ways to replicate what happens to the human body during weightlessness or during zero gravity. And I have to say, this is one of the most unpleasant studies or unpleasant research, I think, that subjects have to go through, where they have to lie down all day and all night in beds that are tilted at 6 degrees with their head pointed towards the ground, so feet towards the ceiling. So what happens is their blood and the fluids rush to their head just like in zero gravity. And over time, their muscles start to waste away because they're not being used. So a recent study wanted to see if the right workout could counteract some of these effects. So researchers brought in weight machines and bikes that subjects could use in bed, and they even mounted treadmills on the wall sideways. So if you can imagine, the person is suspended from the ceiling as they're on the treadmill. And they did this all so they could simulate zero gravity running. So subjects spent 70 days in a head down tilt. One group would work out 6 days per week, some days doing weights or cardio or HIIT training, while the control group did no exercise whatsoever. Now, what were the results? The exercise group maintained most of their muscle mass and their cardiovascular endurance. They also had very few injuries, while the control group lost muscle mass and endurance as the days went by. According to one of the researchers, Plautz Snyder, they said, the most compelling part of this story to me is that an average of an hour of exercise a day protected people against 23 hours a day of lying in bed. Apparently, astronauts are known for exercising at more of a moderate pace, so these findings may encourage them to incorporate high-intensity training as well. And, while 99% of people probably do not need to train on a sideways treadmill or need to take part in a head down tilt bed study for days on end, the lesson really does remain. Use it or lose it. Your physical strength and endurance can be improved and expanded upon with progressive use, or it will dwindle or depreciate with lack of use. According to Plautz Snyder, she said, our muscles, hearts, and lungs idle when we sit, and if that inactivity continues, lose function. So there's so much truth to that. How far you want to take your fitness, that's really up to you, and it depends on the individual and what they're bringing to the table, their level of commitment and their level of resourcefulness on their journey. But the choice is yours, and if you want the choice of greater strength, endurance, and stamina, then improving it day by day will move you towards that. Now, like I alluded to at the beginning of this video, some people want to improve and get better. They're convinced that this is a direction that they want to move in, but they wait. And they usually wait for a big milestone before getting started, whether that's a birthday or a sale for gym memberships or the new year. And when they do this, they are leaving the results up to chance and really dropping the chances that they're going to follow through, because life will inevitably throw new challenges their way. And it's kind of an illusion to say, oh, when life calms down. The thing is, life usually doesn't calm down. It just calms down in certain aspects, but it picks up in other aspects. So instead, we want to get started early, get started before the new year, and take the advice of Beth Swarecki. I may be mispronouncing her name there, but she is a personal trainer and fitness writer who had this awesome quote in a recent article that she wrote. She said, "Even if you think of January is when you get your fresh start on fitness and life, you can think of December as your sandbox, the place where you test out ideas and mull over what it is you really want." And I really love that, because people really don't take this time to test things out and really think, what is it that I want? Really get clear with the vision that they're moving towards. So wherever you're starting, really seize the day, get started, show yourself that you are serious about your new fitness goals. And you don't do that just by creating a plan or setting a goal. You do that by taking some sort of action. And, a great speaker and high performance coach that many people are familiar with, Tony Robbins, really said it best. He said, "Never leave the sight of a goal without first taking some form of positive action towards its attainment." So it's your call as to what that action looks like. It could be going for a little quarter-mile walk, or 3 sets of squats, or tossing out the junk food from the pantry or the office drawers. Take that action, and you will show yourself that this time is different, that you're not just talking a good game, that you really do intend to follow through on it as well. Now, in Beth's article on Lifehacker, which I highly recommend everybody read, she had another really great quote, and this is something else that I believe is missing in most fitness programs. She says, "Experimenting is valuable. It teaches you about yourself and about the thing you're doing. Maybe you thought you were going to start a couch to 5K in the new year, but now you've fallen in love with exercise bike. Maybe you were going to do a beginner routine on machines at your gym, but you picked up a barbell on a lark, and now you're thinking you might want to spend some time learning to use a squat rack instead." There's so much power to this level of experimenting, this level of openness of trying different forms of exercise and just really seeing what are you drawn to right now. You may have not been drawn to weights in the past, but maybe now it's a different experience because of where you're at. Most people will just jump into a fitness routine with the simple focus of just getting a result or getting through the workout as quickly as humanly possible. And that's their choice if they want to do that. But there is another way, and that is taking the approach of experimenting, where you take the same experimental-like attitude that you would bring to a science experiment or some other creation and apply it to your workouts, where maybe you experiment with different exercises or different types of equipment and so on. And you go in with an open mind, and you go in looking to discover something new about yourself and about exercise in general. And I know some people will say that's a little too esoteric, but this is a way to really get more out of your workouts. When you take this attitude, what happens is you really have the potential to change your relationship to exercise. It's where You can find a newfound passion in exercise that you never knew existed. You could realize that your body is stronger than you thought it was, and you are capable of so much more than you gave it credit for. And if you're willing to take on the adventure of being an experimenter, embracing that mindset, you may find this and so much more. So the ball really is in your court, but I highly recommend you start now. Don't wait until the new year like so many others. If you enjoyed this video and want more fitness tips to help you develop the mindset and skill set for lasting transformation, click the subscribe button below or click the link below where I go into much more advanced training.